If you don't like suspense but still crave drama, then stick around because this story will grip you till the end. Max Anthony, cloaked in shadows, stood before the judge, a man who had seen countless souls crumble under the weight of justice. This wasn't about a petty crime, it was a symphony of malevolence that echoed through the courtroom. The room was a cavern of judgment, its walls bearing the weight of countless verdicts. Max, a tempest of rage and defiance, locked eyes with the judge, a man who had witnessed too many lives shattered by his gavel. The air crackled with anticipation. Max's heart beat in sync with the ticking clock, each second a countdown to his fate. The gallery held its breath, eyes fixed on the man who had shattered lives without remorse. "Do you have anything to say before sentence is imposed?" The judge's voice cut through the silence, a blade honed by years of sentencing. But Max was no ordinary criminal. He was a force of nature. Max squared his shoulders, defiance etched into every sinew. His past deeds, a merciless exchange that left no room for regret, flashed before him. His voice, gravelly and unyielding, reverberated through the chamber. Nothing. The word hung in the air like a curse. The judge's gaze faltered, unease crossing his features. Max's eyes held his, a battle of wills. The gallery shifted, uncomfortable witnesses to a duel beyond mortal comprehension. "When you kill one of mine," Max whispered, "I'm going to kill all of us." The judge hesitated, the weight of justice heavy on his shoulders. In that charged moment, the courtroom trembled. And as the gavel fell, sealing his fate, Max's eyes remained unyielding. The world would remember him, the avenger, the harbinger of retribution. For in the conviction of a killer, a new legend was born, one that would haunt the judge's dreams long after the courtroom echoes had faded into eternity. Max Anthony's journey to this fateful day began long before he ever set foot in a courtroom. His childhood was a tapestry of darkness and despair, woven with threads of neglect and abuse. Growing up in a dilapidated home, shadows seemed to follow him wherever he went. The world had shown him little kindness, and he had learned to trust no one. As a teenager, Max's anger and defiance only grew. He found himself in and out of trouble, each encounter with the law hardening his resolve to never be a victim again. His first major crime was a robbery gone wrong. What was meant to be a quick score turned into a violent confrontation, leaving a man dead and Max on the run. For years, Max lived on the edge, evading the law and surviving by any means necessary. He became a ghost, a specter that haunted the underbelly of society. But Max was not content to merely survive. He rose through the ranks of the criminal underworld, his reputation as a ruthless enforcer growing with each passing year. His most notorious crime was a brutal murder that shocked the community. The victim was a rival gang leader, and Max's message was clear: he was not to be crossed. The police launched an intense investigation, piecing together clues that led them to Max. But he was always one step ahead, slipping through their fingers time and again. Eventually, Max's luck ran out. In a dramatic arrest, he was finally captured and brought to justice. The trial that followed was a media sensation, with every detail of his crimes laid bare for the world to see. The courtroom was filled with reporters, their cameras flashing as they documented every moment of the trial. The public was captivated by the story of Max Anthony, the man who had become a symbol of fear and defiance. Max's defense attorney was a seasoned lawyer, known for taking on the toughest cases. He argued that Max was a product of his environment, a man shaped by a lifetime of hardship and violence. The prosecutor, however, painted a different picture. He presented compelling evidence of Max's crimes, arguing that he was a cold-blooded killer who deserved no mercy. The jury deliberated for hours, the tension in the courtroom palpable. Everyone knew that the verdict would be a defining moment, not just for Max, but for the community as a whole. When the jury finally returned, the courtroom held its breath. The foreman stood and delivered the verdict, guilty on all counts. Max's reaction was a mix of defiance and resignation. He had known this day would come, but he was determined to face it on his own terms. The judge prepared to sentence Max, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. This was not just about punishing a criminal, it was about sending a message to anyone who might follow in his footsteps. Max's final words were a chilling declaration of his intent to take everyone down with him. It was a stark reminder that even in defeat, he remained a force to be reckoned with. As the gavel fell, sealing Max's fate, the courtroom seemed to exhale. The long ordeal was over, but the impact of Max Anthony's actions would be felt for years to come. The community reacted to the verdict with mixed emotions. Some felt justice had been served, while others were left grappling with the fear and uncertainty that Max's reign of terror had instilled. The judge, too, was left to reflect on the case. The memory of Max Anthony, the killer who had stood defiant to the end, would haunt him long after the courtroom had emptied. As Max was led away, a new chapter began. The legend of Max Anthony, the Avenger, would live on, a cautionary tale for those who dared to walk the path of darkness. The courtroom emptied, but the echoes of the past lingered. Max Anthony's final stand was over, but the story of his life and crimes would continue to resonate, a dark symphony that would not soon be forgotten.